Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the 12th Annual Chattahoochee Valley Sports Hall of Fame Induction Banquet. We thank all of you for being with us tonight. It'll be a great evening as we honor the class of 2007. At this time, I would ask you to please rise for the posting of our nation's colors, the playing of the national anthem, and please remain standing for the retiring of the colors. If you'll please stand. Thank you, and please be seated. It is indeed a great pleasure at this time to introduce to you the class of 2007. Each inductee will be escorted by cheerleaders from Carver High School, Columbus High School, Kendrick High School, and Shaw High School, as well as Chattahoochee Valley Community College. Escorted by Carver High cheerleader Shalandra Baldwin, we're pleased to introduce from Carver High School and Clemson University, class of 2007 inductee Brentson Buckner. Escorted by Columbus High School cheerleader Sarah Gordon, we're pleased to introduce from Columbus High School and the University of Georgia, class of 2007 inductee Aaron Cohn. Escorted by Kendrick High School senior Martez Williams, we're pleased to introduce from Kendrick High School and Howard University, class of 2007 inductee Vanessa Jenkins. Escorted by CVCC Student Ambassador Brooke Tyner, we're pleased to introduce from Carbon Hill High School and the University of North Alabama, class of 2007 inductee Doug Key. Escorted by Shaw High School cheerleader Portia Norris, we're pleased to introduce from Oregon College, class of 2007 inductee Terry Scott. If you'll kindly refer to the program on the table before you, you'll note that we'll begin shortly with the invocation, followed by the serving of dinner. Following dinner, then we'll recognize various notables and representatives in the audience with us tonight. And then the highlight of the evening will be the induction of the class of 2007. At this time, it's my pleasure to introduce to you the Reverend Charles Hasty, Senior Pastor of First Presbyterian Church, for our invocation. Reverend Hasty.
Will you pray with me, please? Holy God, Lord of all, giver of every good and perfect gift, we pause and take a time out in the game of life tonight to thank you for all of your good gifts to us, for the gift of this good and free land, and for those who do not take a time out in the game of life, but serve us faithfully in our armed forces, both at home and abroad. Bless them and their families, we humbly pray tonight. We thank you for the gift of this time in this place and the food and the fellowship that we enjoy. And tonight we pause to say thank you and well done to the 5 inductees into the Chattahoochee Valley Sports Hall of Fame class of 2007. We thank you and praise you for the gifts that you gave them, for keen minds, for indomitable spirits, for bodies that could and can run and pivot and jump and stretch in beautiful and coordinated ways. We thank you for the gifts of discipline, tenacity, courage, sportsmanship that you gave them. And we laud them tonight and thank you and acknowledge you as the one who'd allowed them to achieve high levels, to meet and surpass goals, to set records on the tennis courts, the basketball courts, the football field, the track. We thank you and praise you that they not only have exceeded goals and met tasks with courage and tenacity on the field of competition, but also have taken those same qualities of and character and discipline into the business sector, into the community arena, into the courtroom, and into their homes. And we thank you and we praise you that they do not take these honors tonight as ones they achieved on their own, but we thank you and we praise you also for their families, their friends, their coaches, their teammates, their mentors, and we prize you most highly for their opponents who pushed them beyond what they believed they could achieve and do on their own. And so may they continue to inspire us in their lives as they continue to live out their lives with the gifts you have given to them. And may we be inspired to live our days and to do what you require, to do justice, to love kindness, and to walk humbly with you, our God, and with our brothers and sisters until that time that we finish this race, until the final buzzer sounds and our earthly life is over, and we might hear your words to us, well done. So continue to inspire us by your grace as we give you all praise and glory and honor and acknowledge you tonight and thank you for this gathering. And we pray in your holy and precious name. Amen.
Thank you, Reverend Hasty. Dinner will now begin being served, and we ask that you enjoy the dinner, and we will reconvene in approximately 20 to 30 minutes. Enjoy dinner, everyone. Again, we welcome you to this special occasion, an occasion where we will recognize those who have contributed to the world of sports. However, before we recognize and honor the class of 2007, there are a number of people that we need to recognize out in the audience. And I would begin with the Ledger-Enquirer newspaper, sports editor Kevin Price, staff writers Krista Turner, David Ching, Robert Spruck, and Troy Johnson for this week's profiles of our inductees in the newspaper. I hope you each had the opportunity to see those wonderful stories of our inductees. I'd also like to recognize WRBL TV3's Jack Rogers for his continuing support of the Hall of Fame, as well as Dave Platter of WTVM, and a special thanks to my right-hand man, Mr. Phil Scoggins, for the production of the inductee videos that we're going to share with you very shortly. If you'll please join me in expressing your appreciation. Last year we were captivated, I guess is a good word, by a group of young men who touched our hearts with their sportsmanship, with their skill levels against some of the toughest competition, both nationally and internationally. Let's rekindle a little bit of those thoughts by taking a look at the screen.
Line drive, base hit. How about O'Connell? Into the gap. Looking for a double. There's a throw. It is. In time, he's out, and it's over. For the first time since 1983, a Georgia team is going to the Little League World Series. You're simply the best. Better than all the rest. Better than anyone.
Liking that whole team. As far as looking at towards the finals, that team and the Japan team have impressed me the most.
You're simply the best. Better than all the rest. Better than anyone. Anyone I ever met. Ooh, I'm stuck on your heart. I hang on every word you say. Oh, tears apart. No, no, no. Baby, I would rather be dead.
Ladies and gentlemen, the players of that 2006 Little League World Series team, along with their manager, Randy Morris, and coach Richard Carter, were all invited to share this evening with us. And it's our fortune, I must say, that they decided that it was more important that they all attend a church mission camp during spring break. And I tell you folks, it just doesn't get any better than that. If you know any of the players, any of the parents, and the manager and coach, please express our deepest congratulations to them, and that while we miss them tonight, we clearly understand their absence. Thank you so much. Some 12 years ago, a group of local sports enthusiasts gathered to consider how they might recognize those who had contributed to sports from the Chattahoochee Valley. After a series of meetings, the organization we know as the Chattahoochee Valley Sports Hall of Fame came into existence. That organization today consists of 22 committee members, of which 6 serve as an executive board. The committee meets 8 months out of the year, with the months of July through September given to the election of inductees, the months of October and November to the execution of the annual Charlie Moore Memorial Golf Tournament, and the months of December, January, and into February for the preparation of this banquet. Most of the 22 committee members are able to be with us tonight, and I would just simply ask those committee members to please stand and be recognized and accept my appreciation for a job well done this year. Committee members, would you please stand and be recognized? We are awfully pleased to have a number of past year inductees or their representatives here with us tonight. If you'll please stand as your name is called and remain standing until all names have been so indicated, and then let's give them a round of applause. Let's begin with our first induction class, the class of 1996 Hall of Famer Larry Mize. Larry, would you please stand and remain standing? From the class of 1997, Hall of Famer Cecil Darby. From the class of 1997, representing his father, Hall of Famer B.F. Register, his son, Lieutenant General Retired Ben Register. From the class of 1998, Hall of Famer James Bubba Ball. From the class of 1998, Hall of Famer Woodrow Lowe. From the class of 1999, Hall of Famer Billy Key. From the class of 2000, Hall of Famer Frank Sonny Clements. From the class of 2000, Hall of Famer Jack Key Jr. From the class of 2001, Hall of Famer Glenn Davis. From the class of 2002, Hall of Famer George McCluskey Jr. From the class of 2002, Hall of Famer Hugh Royer Jr. From the class of 2003, Hall of Famer Marilyn Comiskey. From the class of 2003, Hall of Famer Bill Plager. From the class of 2003, Hall of Famer Herbert Green. From the class of 2003, Hall of Famer Wayne Trawick. From the class of 2004, Hall of Famer Wallace Davis. From the class of 2004, Hall of Famer D.J. Jones. From the class of 2005, Hall of Famer Debbie Ball. From the class of 2005, Hall of Famer Bobby Howard. I believe that is all that I have recognized as being here from the podium. Have I missed anyone out there, a prior year Hall of Famer? Well, good. Let's extend our applause to these past year Hall of Famers, everyone. Now it's time for the highlight of the evening, the honoring of our class of 2007. When asked what his 5 major accomplishments were, our first inductee said his marriage to Denise Buckner on May 21, 1994, the birth of children Brentson Jr., Neil Lavette, Inya Amani, and Brandon. Then beating Valdosta High School in the 1987 state playoffs, playing in Super Bowl number 30, and as team captain in Super Bowl number 38, and being drafted in the second round by the Pittsburgh Steelers. If you'll kindly direct your attention to the screen.
Brentson Buckner's climb to the pinnacle of professional football began at Carver High School. Under the tutelage of head coach Wallace Davis, Brentson developed into one of the state's most recruited linemen. But Coach Davis didn't just use Brenson's intimidating size on the line. He also let him carry the ball as a fullback. Wearing number 9 here, he scored a touchdown against Hardaway in the late 1980s. Buckner was also a member of the Carver Tiger football team that defeated perennial powerhouse Valdosta in the state playoffs in 1987. Brentson was offered a college scholarship by another team of Tigers from Clemson University. Brentson was a 3-year starter from 1991 to 93. Over his college career, he had 46 tackles for a loss, which is 4th most in Clemson history. His senior year, he was selected first-team All-Conference by the ACC Sports Writers. He was also the defensive MVP in the Peach Bowl in 1993 with 12 tackles. Brentson was selected in the second round of the 1994 NFL Draft by the Pittsburgh Steelers. He started for Pittsburgh against the Dallas Cowboys in Super Bowl 30. His pro career led him to Cincinnati, San Francisco, and finally to the Carolina Panthers in 2001. He started 65 of his 71 career games with Carolina. He had 226 tackles in his 5 years with the Panthers, averaging 45 tackles per season. He was the team captain for Carolina in Super Bowl 38 against New England in 2004. In all, Brentson played in 15 NFL playoff games during his 12 seasons as a pro. He retired from pro football in 2006, but can still be seen as an NFL analyst on television. Ladies and gentlemen, the Chattahoochee Valley Sports Hall of Fame is proud to induct Brentson Buckner.
Ladies and gentlemen, class of 2007, Hall of Famer Brentson Buckner. Congratulations. Look at the camera, lady, down there. Good. Thank you. You want to hold it for you?
Hold it. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. It's an honor and a pleasure to be here. You heard everything it is about me, but everything I did in my life has not solely been for me. It's a lot of people. Excuse me. All right. There's a lot of people who helped carry me. The reason I went as far as I did. First of all, my Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ. My mom and my dad, my aunt, my sisters, nieces, nephews, my children. But most of all, people like Wallace Davis, who saw me, as an overweight, 9-year-old kid, couldn't play, but told me, they're gonna pay you one day to do this. He been right. His wife, who for years shared her husband with us, sleeping at his house, playing in his yard, his kids sharing their daddy, Ryan and Alita Wallace. A guy, who opened his heart and opened doors for us, and I like thank him. Also, this guy, I never played for him, but he opened his house, shared his son and daughter, Felix Walton, a guy I could talk to. A guy I could talk to about anything, share his life. He didn't coach me. I played against him, beat him every year we played him. But he shared his love with me. His daughter, Sue, was like a sister to me. Tim, who's not here, who's a part of this, like a best friend. Sue's husband, Mike, love him like a brother. Then the guys I played with at Carver. I'm not just going in for myself. I'm going in for them. So, and it's not just me making it, because I don't worry about it. I just happen to be the one God chose to do it for my teammates. Jody, Robert Stroy, Roger Kimbrough, Henry Searcy, my cousin, Dennis Tillman, LaRon Harper, Nikki Pitts, Anthony McHenry. Those guys were way better than me in athletics, but I had a calling on my life for this. Girls that I went to school with, never tried to date, but was like sisters to me that kept me straight. Twana Anderson, Christy G, Toby S. Simmons. Those are the people who I represent. My educators, a woman that took me as an athlete, put me in the class with the top 10 students in the school in a class as an athlete, but taught me I belong, Miss Kirkland, Kathy Kirkland and her husband. And continued to follow me throughout my career. Another guy who I knew that me going to the NFL, it wasn't about me, it was about blazing a path for people. A guy like Roger Hood, who like me, grew up as an underdog. People say I was too big, he was too small. But we both came together and we both made it. So, them the people I represent. Anybody ever went to Carver? I love Columbus, but I'm a Carver High graduate. And to the day I die, I'm gonna represent Carver. It's no harm to all the other schools that's out here, but I represent them. So when you give me this award, you got to add thousands of names on it, because no matter what anybody has, what anybody do, you just got to look, see what I got. And it's a big family that stuck with me and helped me. Thank you.
Thank you and congratulations, Brentson Buckner and family. Our next inductee, while at the University of Georgia, was tennis singles, doubles, and mixed doubles champion. captain of the 1937 team, has been freshman and assistant varsity coach, recipient of the Bill Hartman Award for Athletic Ability, awarded the Alumni Distinguished Service Scroll Award in appreciation for service to the School of Law and the university. In the city of Columbus and the state of Georgia, he was tennis doubles champion, state senior doubles champion, Chattahoochee Valley singles champion. He conducted various youth clinics through the years. He was president of Columbus Tennis Association. He pioneered the promotion of tennis at city facilities, specifically Lake Bottom and Cooper Creek Park, and was volunteer assistant coach at Columbus High School. As a member of and representing the YMCA, he was state singles and doubles champion in tennis, state champion in wrestling, table tennis and volleyball, ranked 5th nationally in the senior class. Professionally, he's been president of the Columbus Bar Association, president of the Georgia Council of Juvenile Court Judges, president of the National Council of Juvenile and Family Court Judges, judge of Juvenile Court of the Chattahoochee Judicial Circuit for over 40 years, and presently serving as presiding judge. He was awarded honorary alumnus of Columbus State University with the degree of Doctor of Humane Letters. Would you please direct your attention to the screen?
Juvenile court judge Aaron Cohn was born and raised in Columbus. His athletic prowess became clear as a young boy, competing at the local YMCA. He notched a host of state sports titles at the Y, including the state featherweight wrestling crown, 10 state volleyball titles, and the state table tennis championship. By the way, that title came at the expense of his lifelong friend, Dan McGill. Cohn also won state YMCA singles and doubles crowns in tennis, which is the sport that would carry him to the next level. Cohn was a 3-year letterman on the courts at the University of Georgia. He was captain of the Bulldog tennis team his senior year in 1937. While he pursued his law degree, Cohn volunteered as an assistant coach of Georgia's tennis team. Tennis remained a focus for Judge Cohn long after he left the university. He returned to Columbus, where he became a leading doubles player. He captured the City of Columbus Doubles Championship and later teamed up with fellow Chattahoochee Valley Sports Hall of Fame inductee Terry Scott to win the Georgia State Senior Doubles title. Cohn played competitive tennis until the age of 85. Judge Cohn's career goes well beyond the tennis court. He served his country as a lieutenant colonel in the U.S. Cavalry in World War II, fighting in the Battle of the Bulge. He was honored by the U.S. Holocaust Commission for helping to liberate a concentration camp in Abenzi, Austria. After the war, Cohn returned to Columbus to open his law practice. He is currently the longest-sitting juvenile court judge in the nation, having served for over 40 years. In 2005, Judge Cohn was honored by his alma mater with the Bill Hartman Award. It goes to a University of Georgia varsity athlete who has distinguished himself in service to others over a long and successful career. Ladies and gentlemen, the Chattahoochee Valley Sports Hall of Fame is proud to induct Judge Aaron Cohn.
Class of 2007 Hall of Famer Aaron Cohn.
I know everybody thinks that judges and lawyers talk too much, but I can assure you of one thing. I have a limited time, and I'm going to stick to it because I'm so proud to be a part of this group that we've got here tonight. But before I do anything, I'm going to pull a little surprise on Jim White. He doesn't know this, but I want the world to know that this guy is the guy that makes this whole thing go. And it amazes us the time that he spends and what he does to make it a success. And I want to hear some thanks for him. What can I say? My cup runneth over. This is an early Thanksgiving for the Cohn family, and I'm just so delighted to be here tonight. 100 years ago, my family moved to Columbus, Georgia. My mother was 16 years old, and she came here and she was an immigrant. And from the time that I was able to really know what it was all about, she used to tell me all the time, Aaron, you know how lucky you are to be an American. And every day of my life that I live here, I think about, hey, you know, my mother was right. We are so lucky to be Americans. And I'm so proud. And I'm so proud that we can have a good crowd like this tonight because it personifies what I'm talking about. I want to thank everybody. There's so many people, but I want to thank everybody. My lovely family that's sitting right here, my wonderful wife with whom we've been married for 60 some odd years. I've forgotten how many years ago. She just corrected me, 66. And I want to thank not only the people in Columbus that support this organization, but I want to thank the people in the courthouse that have supported me and given me confidence to pursue what I wanted to do best, and that was to work with the children in my hometown. This has been a wonderful night for me. I don't mind telling you. Just a great, great night. And all I can say to all of you is God bless you and God bless America. Thank you.
Thank you and congratulations, Judge Aaron Cohn and family. Our next inductee was named the Ledger-Enquirer Female Athlete of the Year in 1981 and 1983. She was the Georgia Sports Writers Prep Female Athlete of the Year in 1983. She was the Ledger-Enquirer Page 1 Award recipient for athletics in 1983. She received a proclamation from the Maryland House of Delegates in Prince George's County, Maryland, for organization and leadership in youth sports in 2005 and was inducted into Howard University's Athletic Hall of Fame for women's basketball in 2005. Would you please direct your attention to the screen?
Vanessa Graham Jenkins did not take long to establish her reputation as a superstar athlete at Kendrick High School. As a freshman in 1980, she made All-Bi-City in basketball, softball, and track. She repeated that effort her sophomore year and trumped it by earning the honor of Bi-City Female Athlete of the Year. In 1982, Vanessa continued to garner multiple awards in Bi-City competition, while also capturing state championship titles in the discus and shot put. Vanessa refused to rest on her laurels as a senior. She was named the Girls Basketball Player of the Year by the Columbus Ledger-Enquirer. She defended her state championship titles in discus and shot put, setting a state record in the shot. Her accolades in 1993 included being named the Georgia Sports Writers Female Athlete of the Year and the Ledger-Enquirer's Page 1 Award winner for athletics. After a tremendous high school career at Kendrick, it was on to Howard University, where this dynamo from Columbus even picked up more steam. In her 4 years on the Bison's basketball team, she set a school record for most points scored. She captured first-team all-conference honors and was tournament MVP as a freshman, sophomore, and senior. Her last 3 years, she was the team MVP. Howard University honored Vanessa by retiring her jersey. She was inducted into the school's Basketball Hall of Fame in 2005. Vanessa currently lives in Bladensburg, Maryland, where she co-founded the Boys and Girls Club. She has been honored by the Maryland House of Delegates for her leadership in youth sports. Ladies and gentlemen, tonight, the Chattahoochee Valley Sports Hall of Fame is proud to induct Vanessa Graham Jenkins.
Ladies and gentlemen, class of 2007 Hall of Famer, Vanessa Graham Jenkins. Congratulations. Look at the camera out there. Good. I'll put it in the chair.
Thank you. Thank you. First of all, I would like to give honor to God for he is the Lord of my life, and I know without him there would be no me, and I would just like to give him honor and the praise. There are so many people to thank. I think the prior two inductees have said a lot in terms of what it means to be part of this group of people who are being selected now. And also to grow up in Columbus and to be an athlete, student athlete in this area has been very, very good for me. I would like to thank my mom. I love you so much. You know, we talk about support, and my mom never saw me play basketball. I don't know if anybody ever knew this. But one thing that stands in my heart and makes me very proud to be her daughter is that every night I came home, especially when I played for Kendrick, every night I came home and she was up watching the news. She has this big old grin on her face, and she's there to talk to me. And I just say thank you for that, Mom, and I really love you. Other people I would like to thank are my siblings, Luana, Beverly, Ken. I have a brother named Eddie, and also my sister who passed away a couple of years ago, Rhonda Harris. Rhonda drove me to Howard University when I was recruited there. She took me up to Howard. Also, she took me to University of Georgia. And I just want to say thank you to them. My brothers and sisters are my #1 fans, and I love you all so much, and they have always told me how proud they are of me. And I want you to know, whenever you tell me you're proud of me, it makes me even prouder, and I thank you. I also like to thank my nieces and nephews. Boy, those were my, they too supported me and were fans of mine, and they showed me so much respect. They showed me so much admiration, and because of their admiration and respect, kept me very humble, and it keeps me striving to be more and more successful. I've been married for 18 years to Vince Jenkins, and Vince is a former student athlete here in Columbus also. Vince went to Shaw, and you know, Kendra used to beat up on Shaw a lot. And so he's really proud to be my husband. No offense to Coach Debbie Ball, but like Brentson said, he's a Carver, true Carver fan. I mean, Carver athlete. I am true Kendrick. I have 2 children, Vincent and Valencia, and I like to say thank you to you guys. And they too keep me going because I'm still involved with sports in my hometown. And for my son, my husband and I co-founded this Boys and Girls Club. And I have so many family and friends. I had 2 friends to come down with me from Maryland, Josephine Rutledge and Tamika Laws. They're very good friends of mine. And this is what I think athletics has taught me, is how to build character, to love people, to be very supportive, to be nurturing, and also to learn how to be diverse in everything that I do. And I want to thank them for driving all the way from Washington, D.C. area to come down to be with me. I have my in-laws in the house, and I want to thank them very much, Mr. and Mrs. George Jenkins, and also my sister-in-law Stephanie and Sequoia here to support me. And you know, when I got inducted into the Hall of Fame, I didn't know. I got a phone call from a cousin. Her name is Shanita Dirk. And Shanita called me, and she was very excited. She says, congratulations, congratulations. And I didn't know, so I had to call, I think, Debbie Ball to find out if it was true, because my husband was like, you better make sure that's true. No one had called me yet. But a couple of days after that, I had gotten the phone call. Thank you, Shanita. She's always been supportive of me as well. As you know, I went to Rothschild Junior High School, and I was so blessed to meet a man and his family who took me in, took me under his arm. He loved me, he taught me, he encouraged me, and his name is Christopher Church. I don't know how many thank yous I can give out to you, Coach Church, and I just want to say I love you. I appreciate you, Miss Joan Church, for allowing him to be a part of the lives of children that he's touched, especially my life, and his family and his children for allowing him to share himself with other people, like myself. Thank you very much, Coach Church. You know, Coach Church followed me from Rothschild to Kendrick. And I tease him about that all the time. He never get another athlete as good as I am. So he had to follow me to Kendrick. But when I got to Kendrick High School, I met a track coach. Her name is Gwendolyn Ingram. Ms. Ingram didn't only teach me or coach me in track, but she taught me a lot about life. She was a person, being a female athlete, although Coach Church and I had this great bond. You know, there were certain things I couldn't talk to him about being a female athlete. And Ms. Ingram was always there for me. And from the two of them, I learned so much. I've learned how to be very patient and to be caring and just to really strive for everything that I want. These two people have really supported me, and till this day, they will call me up and to see how I'm doing, and we see how I'm doing, and we stay in touch with each other. And Ms. Ingram, I thank you very much. Now, it's one thing about track. I do have this little story to tell. I won the discus championship, and I set the state record for it. And it's a story that Ms. Ingram and I talk about a lot. She had a son named Osric. And Osric was like my little coach. He thought he was the coach. So Osric would pace up and down, up and down. Every time I get ready, he would kind of massage my shoulders and try to prepare me. So when the state championship in the disc, my final throw, he said, now I want you to grunt real hard. That was his favorite thing. I want you to really, really grunt. So as I remember getting ready, preparing to toss the disc, I hear this loud yell, and it was Osric grunting as loud as he can. And that's when I knew I made the throw that would set the record. So I want to say thank you to Osric. He wasn't able to be here tonight, but I do want to give him thanks. There are a couple of things that I remember about growing up in Columbus, and not only playing sports, but I have to give thanks to my teachers who really pushed me and recognized that not only being an athlete, that I was also a student athlete. And that meant a lot to me because I wasn't looked at a lot just having sports and being a part of a team, but I was also looked upon as being smart and also having some leadership and character. And I want to thank this organization, the committee, for inducting me into the Hall of Fame. And I just want to say thank you to everybody. All right, thank you.
Thank you and congratulations, Vanessa Jenkins. Our next inductee began the athletic programs at Chattahoochee Valley Community College. He won state championships in 4 decades, 1978, 85, 92, 2002, and again in 2004. He holds the highest winning percentage and longest winning streak in the Alabama Junior College Athletic Association. He holds the best season record in the AJCC for coaching 2 teams. In 1978, the men's basketball team with 30 wins and 2 losses, and in women's basketball, 22 wins and 6 losses. He has 2 daughters who graduated from Auburn University and are outstanding wives and citizens, and he is a deacon at Golden Acres Baptist Church. If you'll kindly direct your attention to the screen.
Doug Key is a native of Carbon Hill, Alabama. He was a well-rounded athlete at his hometown high school, lettering in football, baseball, and basketball. After graduating in 1961, he headed to play college ball at Florence State College, now the University of North Alabama. He was a 4-year letterman for the Lions. During his junior and senior seasons, he led the team in scoring. He finished his college career in 1965 with 1,254 points to become the 3rd leading scorer in school history. In 1997, Key was inducted into the school's Basketball Hall of Fame. After graduating from college, Key held several high school and coaching jobs before coming to Chattahoochee Valley Community College in 1975 as the school's first athletic director and head basketball coach. Over the next 22 years, Key would carve out his niche in Alabama junior college basketball history. His record of 514 wins and 225 losses gives him the highest winning percentage of any other state junior college coach. Key's teams captured 4 state and region titles, and for his efforts, Key was named State Junior College Coach of the Year 4 times. He also had the CVCC Gymnasium named in his honor. Key became athletic director at Glenwood School in 1997, where he also served as basketball coach and golf coach for 7 years. In 1992, Key was inducted into the Alabama Sports Hall of Fame. Ladies and gentlemen, tonight, the Chattahoochee Valley Sports Hall of Fame is proud to induct Doug Key.
Ladies and gentlemen, class of 2007 Hall of Famer Doug Key. Look at the camera down there, sir. I'll put that in the chair.
Thank you. I'd like to thank the committee and Jim for everything. I really appreciate this. My wife and my son-in-laws and daughters and my grandkids do. I'm lucky to be here and blessed, but many years ago, I was coaching high school basketball at Carpenter Hill, and that was a job that I really loved and one that I'd always wanted. And we'd had some success, and South Alabama called and offered me a job as a freshman coach, and I'd made up my mind. I had everyone back, about 9 back. I lost 1 starter, and we had a good program going, and I was as happy as I could be. I was making $3,700 a year, so I had plenty of money. And coaching 3 sports, and to be honest with you, the only reason I had the job was because I could coach football. It wasn't because I could coach basketball. Alabama, the football coaches, they had good football in Alabama, and I was lucky enough to work some in football and played, and so the athletic director was a football coach, and he told me right quick he was hunting a football coach, assistant football coach. He was, and then I could coach some basketball, so I kept going down there and seeing him and sold him on the idea that I could help him in football. And I thought I was going to get to coach a lot of football, but what I wound up doing all summer was cutting grass and painting. And I thought, I'll never get a chance to coach football. And I'd worked so hard. The guy was real good to me. You know, he told me about 2 weeks before football was over with, he said, if you'll lock that gym, you can get those guys that don't play football and start work. And so I'd get in from football practice, and we lived right behind the school in an apartment, so I'd run over there and get a bite to eat and go back and open the gym and start basketball practice. But my wife convinced me that we needed to move, and that's unusual. I didn't want to, but she convinced me that was the best thing for us to do. And so we moved and left Carbon Hill and got into college coaching, and it was a blessing. And a lot of you guys won't admit it, but you know, General Motors came out about 2 years ago, I guess, with an OnStar system. And I've had an OnStar system with me ever since I've been married. So, I mean, I didn't have any problem getting advice. My wife holds about 3 degrees, LD, BD, and then for gifted learning. So I could get plenty of advice. I could get it from my wife, my friend, or a counselor, and sometimes I tell her, just listen to me, and we'll discuss this. But she has been so good, so patient with me, and let me do what I wanted to do, and that was coach. And I know a lot of times I brought home some dirty uniforms that was smelly, and she said, you're not washing those here. You're not doing it. So being a good guy that I am, I just wait till she went to sleep, and then I'd wash them and dry them and fold them and get them out in the car before she'd get up the next morning. So we worked that out, and I got to tell this on you, dear. We got, all women like to shop, so when I was at Marion Institute, we had a very limited budget recruiting, and so I came in one afternoon after practice and told her, you know, to get ready. Marion had only maybe 3 or 4 places you could shop for clothes and things, so I told her we was going shopping the next morning. And so when we got to Tuscaloosa, I told her to drop me off at the gym where the high school tournament was, and she said, whoa, we're going shopping. I said, I'm shopping for basketball players. You can go. So it didn't take her long. That trip cost me a lot of money. But I wanted to thank the Legend Choir. They've been awful good to Doug Key. And the Phoenix Citizen, Mark Clark. Now, Mark Clark is a good sports writer, but he's sneaky. He's as sneaky as he can be. I know with that 78 club we had, it was so good. We go to the state tournament, and of course he went to CV, but he's pulling for us and doing everything. And we got a curfew. We win the first night, and I've got them all in at 10:30, and I told them they better not be out of their rooms. Well, Mark Clark, being the sports writer he was, he goes, and he's staying down there where the basketball players are. Of course, they convince him to go get them Cokes, potato chips, and cookies and all that. So he bootlegs that in behind my back, and he thinks that I didn't know it, but I did. So, but the Legend Choirs had great sports writers. I know I got to see a couple of them tonight, and they've been so good to me in Chattahoochee Valley. Channel 9, Channel 3, and 38, they've been awful good to CV and Doug Key. And I want to thank Sonny Clements and Herbert Green. They helped me recruit a lot of players, and Herbert's always been a good friend. I recruited one of his kids at Marion out of high school, and then he and I wound up over here. But I know he got tired of seeing me because we didn't have a gym and didn't have anything really, and I'd call him up, and I know he'd hold the phone out this far waiting for me to hit him for something, but he never turned me down. He was always eager, and I know he'd cut his practice short a lot of times so we could get over there. And Coach Trey was so good to me at Central. They let us use their facilities. Coach Red, Coach Davis, we practiced over at Carver. He was awful good to me. And of course, everyone knows that Bubba Ball and Debbie, they were good to us. And really, CV's lucky. It's a community college, but all the high school coaches here were good to us, and they helped us get some good athletes. And of course, I don't care how good a coach you are, you got to have players, and we got a lot of good players from this area, and they were willing to put it on the line for us and help us out when we needed it, because it's a tough selling job to go recruit somebody, and they say, well, what kind of gym you got? We don't have one. What kind of faculty? The parents want to know what kind of faculty you got over there. Well, you know, we're just getting started, and so it didn't take me long to learn that we were real fortunate. We had a doctor in the math program that had been in one of the major universities, and we had one in the three in the English department, one in the history department. So we had some good people, and you start selling those people and what you've got, and it wasn't long before we were able to get some good quality athletes. And I know that I got a lot of help from Phoenix City, Max Wilkes, and Phoenix City Basketball and Softball Association. I know Milford's here tonight. He helped me a lot because I'd always ask him, you seen anybody out that you think can play? And they'd give me names, so we'd run them down. And, you know, when you're working on a limited budget, and most of you people don't know what proration is, but Dr. Brockwell does. And, you know, you can set up a budget and you're working on a certain amount, and then come September it's cut. Well, it's tough when you've got everything in and you're starting working on a budget and you're 20% what you projected. So we had some good administrators that were real good to me. And probably the best one I had is Bill Hayes, and he's here tonight. And I wanted to recognize Bill because he was one of the best I worked for. And he also, you still owe me $1,500, Bill, out of that budget you took away from us about 7 or 8 years ago. We worked hard for, but you know, being a good coach, you got to look over a lot of things and make the best of the situation. And I'd like to thank, in closing, I'd like to thank Dr. Blackwell. She's here tonight from CV. Where's Dr. Blackwell? She is so good. Thank you for starting the basketball program back at CV. She told me right after she came here that she was going to start it back, and she's got it back rolling, both men and women, and they're doing well, and she's very community minded, and she's going to do well by CV. And I was, type of coach I was, I know some of you, I was better suited the underdog. I love being the underdog. And I know we faced some good teams, but I love being an underdog. And probably the biggest thrill is that 92 club. I had, most of the guys were from right here in the Bi-Cities. I had a couple from Central, Columbus High, Hardaway, one from Carver. So, and we had a limited budget. We go to the national tournament, and we beat Hiwassee, and we played the national champions, not the national champions eventually, to 8 points, and then we played, but it was a great thrill knowing I'm taking some kids from Bi-City. We drive our own bus out there, and these other people are flying theirs in, but to line up and go head to head, and I know you're not supposed to feel good when you get beat 4 points, but I sure felt good, and I wasn't embarrassed by those kids. And I apologize if I missed anybody tonight, but I appreciate everything that I'm lucky to be here and to live in this area, because it's a great sports town and got great people here, and I appreciate everything. Thank you.
Congratulations, Doug Key and family. Our next inductee played football, basketball, baseball, and track at Oregon College in 1939 and won the Idaho Collegiate Tennis title in 1937. He played forward on the 507th Parachute Regimental basketball team, beating Georgia, Auburn, and Florida. While playing forward, he helped defeat the then New York Celtics, scoring 21 points and a 42-40 win. He was named the outstanding adult tennis player in the state of Georgia in 2006. He upset Bitsy Grant at his stadium court at the Bitsy Grant Center, winning 6-4 and 7-5. He was gold medalist in men's over 85 singles tennis in 2003 and again in 2005. Please direct your attention to the screen.
Terry Scott has been a name synonymous with tennis in Columbus since the middle of the 20th century. Terry is a native of Oregon City, Oregon. While attending high school there, he went undefeated on his prep tennis team. In college, Scott was a versatile athlete, playing football, basketball, tennis, and running track. Terry came to Fort Benning in 1949 for airborne school. That began a 22-year career in the Army. During his time of service to our country, he competed in 9 different sports, including track, volleyball, table tennis, badminton, football, baseball, and basketball. He won the 3rd Army Championship in 5 of these sports, twice capturing the tennis championship. Scott also won the 5th Army Seniors Tennis Championship. One of his favorite partners in multiple sports over the years has been fellow Chattahoochee Valley Sports Hall of Fame inductee Judge Aaron Cohn. After retiring from the Army in 1968, Scott settled into a career as tennis pro for the City of Columbus's public tennis courts, a position he held for 19 years. His storied career on the courts has included 46 state championships and 16 Southern championships. His local titles are too numerous to name. Scott says of all of the victories in his career, probably the sweetest was his win over the esteemed Bitsy Grant during a state tennis tournament. Ladies and gentlemen, the Chattahoochee Valley Sports Hall of Fame is proud to induct Terry Scott.
Ladies and gentlemen, class of 2007 Hall of Famer Terry Scott. Look at the camera down there.
Thank you, Mr. White. I think everything's been said that needs to be said about me. Let's talk about all the people I taught when I was a tennis pro. I was a little crusty when I gave my lessons, and I'm very grateful that none of the people that I gave lessons to hold it against me. Dr. Sam Rice said I saved his life. He said I ran him so hard that he quit smoking and hadn't smoked since. But of all the people that I might have offended, I think only 2 out of the thousands are enemies, I guess. I'm grateful for my family. They're sitting over here. My son, Randy, he and I won a bunch of doubles tournaments, father and son tournaments. We won 2 Southern father and son tournaments. I won a state tournament mixed doubles with my daughter. I have a grandson in Dallas, Texas, who's real good, very good. I have a grandson here that's a lot younger, who is one of the best young players in Columbus. And his name is Hunter Spicer. I have an older daughter. She runs me and runs the family and makes everyone aware of all the errors the paper makes in English. But she loves me. And in this, somewhere in here, Roger Pierce, he and I won a bunch of doubles tournaments in Columbus. My Jeff Ribnick, I like him because he'll come out and play with me and hit the ball to me so I don't have to run. And George Swift does the same thing. So I like them better than all the rest of my buddies. And I've said all I want to say. Thank you.
Congratulations, Terry Scott and family. Folks, I wish you could have been in my seat sitting up here listening to this twosome over here. I asked if they ever got together to share old stories, and they said as often as we can, but we only talk about those that we beat. We don't talk about those that we lost to. And then I almost became convinced that some of their winnings occurred by the fact that Judge Cohn subpoenaed certain players to appear on the court. Not at the court, but on the court. Well, it's been a great evening, everyone, and just let me share with you a couple of thoughts as we close. You know, there's at least one graphic measure by which we distinguish the great men and women of the Chattahoochee Valley, and that is the Chattahoochee Valley Sports Hall of Fame. While it's physically located at the Columbus Civic Center, I think more importantly it's located in our hearts. Within it are 55 individuals. Tonight we added 5 more. We received them in large part because they were visionaries of perfection. They acted nobly. They acted with purpose of mind and purpose of body. Whether taken individually or collectively, they've had an enormous impact on our quality of life in the Chattahoochee Valley. Before we adjourn, I would ask that you please stand and give one final round of applause to the class of 2007, Mr. Brentson Buckner, Miss Vanessa Jenkins, Mr. Doug Key, Judge Aaron Cohn, and Mr. Terry Scott. Good night, everyone.